Martinsville firefighters are taking a proactive step to be better prepared for tactical and mass casualty situations.
Yeah, firefighters now have new gear and new training. WSLS 10's Colter Anstad gives us a look at both and explains how they could help save lives.
The gear that I've got on here, this bulletproof vest, this tourniquet, and this helmet is what each Martinsville firefighter now has. The gear is designed not just to save the firefighters' lives, but to help the firefighters save the lives of others as well. With their new gear on, Martinsville firefighters may look like they're more suited to be part of a SWAT team operation than to fight fires, but that's the point.
They are now prepared to go in these types of situations to assist the police department.
With the new gear, firefighters can now potentially go into a scene with law enforcement and begin treating victims rather than having to wait for law enforcement to clear the scene of any potential threats.
Not only do they serve as protection for each of our firefighters, they also serve as carrier devices for first aid equipment.
One of the most important pieces of equipment is a tourniquet. Firefighters say someone with a punctured artery can bleed to death in less than a minute, so being able to go into a scene sooner could be the difference between life and death for victims. In addition, the firefighters have also undergone special training to prepare them to use the equipment.
It's training in a situation where it's stressful. Everyone says, yeah, it kicks my butt, I'm tired, but they're glad they went through it.
Firefighters say having the equipment and the training gives them peace of mind should they ever have to respond to something like an active shooter or a mass casualty event.
They're bringing us guys in sooner because other victims are bleeding out, unfortunately, or the hemorrhage, and plus we're having to escort with law enforcement.
Fire Chief Ted Anderson says he believes the department may be the only one locally that has both the gear and the training. All told, the fire department has 24 sets of this gear. Each set costs $1,500. The money for the gear came from a state grant. In Martinsville, Colter Anstad, WSLS 10.
Thank you, Colter. 3 adults and 3 minors are facing charges today in connection to 2 armed home invasions in Carroll County. According to the sheriff's office, they happened last Wednesday. First happened about 11 p.m. at a home on Pleasant View Road. According to deputies, the homeowner says several masked men entered the home with guns looking for their son. The owner said that one of the men put his hand over a child's mouth and placed a gun to the child's head to get him to stop screaming. After learning the owner's son was not at the house, the men left to search another home on Glendale Road near Galax. The men then returned to the first home. Deputies were able to arrest them and recover 2 guns and several knives from their car. Michael Owens, Casey Reynolds, and Zacchaeus Jones Frost were all arrested and charged with over a dozen charges each, including grand larceny and kidnapping. They're being held in jail without bond. The 3 minors who were arrested were charged and taken to juvenile detention.
A Christiansburg man and woman are sentenced to serve more than 21 years combined on federal drug conspiracy charges. According to acting United States Attorney Rick Mountcastle, 49-year-old Timothy Radford was sentenced to 11 years and 3 months in federal prison. 45-year-old Melissa Litton was sentenced to 10 years and 7 months. According to evidence from previous hearings, the pair admitted to being involved in a conspiracy to distribute methamphetamine from late 2015 through March of 2016.
And 2 Danville utility workers are recovering in the hospital tonight following an explosion in Pittsylvania County. According to the director of utilities, it happened this morning about 11 outside the Intertape Polymer Group plant. He says Charles Sutton and David Ward were working on the wiring when the explosion happened. Both men were burned. Sutton was flown to Wake Forest Baptist Medical Center. Ward was taken to UNC Medical Center. The extent of their injuries isn't known. Cause of the explosion is under investigation. Now, in a 10 News Crime Tracker report, we're looking into dozens of recent car burglaries in our area. Police say there were 44 break-ins in about a 3-week stretch in June in Lynchburg. That's up from an average of about 30 per month. Police have some advice for you. Don't leave valuables in plain sight in your car, and know the serial numbers of your electronic devices in case they're stolen. Police say the most recent victims in Lynchburg just left their cars unlocked.
Lock your doors. That's the biggest thing. And they're not breaking windows. They're not breaking into the cars. They're just trying door handles.
Tonight on WSLS 10 at 6, we'll have more information for you for keeping your car safe and tell you where these crimes are happening the most.
A Bedford pastor known for helping the homeless population in the town is now speaking out after felony charges against him were dismissed last week. Joshua Ball ran the Grace House shelter until it closed back in February. Right after the closing, Ball was arrested and charged with assault and battery and for writing a bad check. The separate incidents were related to the shelter. At the time of his arrest, Ball says his attorney advised him not to talk to media until his case was over. After a victory in his case on Friday, Ball wanted to tell his side of the story. Tonight on WSLS 10 at 6, find out what he says really happened as he talked with our very own Arisha Jones.
And a Florida man is hiking the Appalachian Trail to raise awareness for addiction recovery. He left Panama City on February 1st and made his way through our area today. WSLS 10's Jessica Jewell caught up with him to talk about his mission.
From Florida to Canada, Jim Downs is walking 2,200 miles, all to raise awareness about an issue impacting thousands across the country: addiction.
See ya.
Jim Downs, better known as Big Jim, was addicted to drugs and alcohol for 34 years before he decided to make a change. He was accepted to a free long-term faith-based recovery program in Florida that he says changed his life. Now he's hiking across the country to spread awareness about his battle with addiction and help others struggling with it too. He's also raising money to help establish more free recovery programs.
The one thing that I've noticed here in Virginia is there is not enough programs. There's support meetings. But, you know, that's not enough to be able to dig the root up.
Jim walks at least 10 miles every day, typically for at least 5 hours. While he walks, his wife goes into nearby communities, talks with people struggling with addiction, and even sells produce on the side of the road to help raise money. Jim hopes to make it to Canada in October. Jim says his journey is far from over when he reaches Canada. We'll tell you about his goal for next year coming up at 6. In Roanoke County, Jessica Jewell, WSLS 10.
All right, thank you, Jessica. Congress returns to Capitol Hill after the July 4th recess with a lot to do before their long August break. Senate Republicans have just 3 weeks to settle their differences over health care, while the House GOP aims to break a stalemate over the budget. Reporter Karen Kaifa has the latest tonight from Washington.
The Senate will come to order.
The U.S. Senate back after a week away, facing a sprawling to-do list before the August break. For Republican leadership, health care is priority number one, but the recess didn't make things easier.
This bill is designed to kill.
With some members getting an earful from constituents.
We're talking $3,000 and $4,000 a month worth of insulin, and you want to take that away from us?
No, I do not want to take that away from you, sir. So don't put words in my mouth.
At least 10 Republican senators have publicly opposed the bill in its current form. Without any Democratic support, Majority Leader Mitch McConnell can only lose 2. Some conservatives say the bill doesn't repeal enough of Obamacare. Some moderates say cuts to Medicaid are too much. While leadership scrambles to make changes, at least one GOP member, Susan Collins of Maine, says tweaking just isn't enough.
I do need a complete overhaul in order to get to yes.
On the House side, it's the federal budget that has Republicans at odds. Moderates are seeking to protect certain domestic programs and entitlements, while conservatives are looking to slash them while boosting money for defense. Speaker Paul Ryan wants a budget passed before the August break. Both houses return to their ongoing Russia investigations. And on Wednesday, the Senate Judiciary Committee begins consideration of President Trump's pick for FBI Director, Christopher Wray, which will likely put the president's firing of James Comey in May back in the spotlight. In Washington, I'm Karen Kaifa.
Well, another person has been killed by an exploding Takata airbag inflator. However, the death was not the result of a crash. According to Honda, a man died in June of 2016 in Florida when he was working inside a 2001 Honda Accord using a hammer. The automaker says the car's ignition switch was on, so the airbag would have been ready. It's not clear what the man was doing or what set off the airbag. Honda says it was recently made aware of that death. It is the 12th death in the United States from the faulty inflators.
Well, a hot and humid week ahead. Storm Team 10 Chief Meteorologist Jeff Hanowich will have a more in-depth look at your steamy forecast. That's coming up after the break.
You are looking at a live picture from our Poor Mountain Sky Cam. We have seen our fair share of sun today. We did have a little sprinkle in northern parts of Southside a couple of hours ago, but that was about the only game in town. Overall, just a very warm day, arguably hot, but frankly, we're only turning hotter and more humid from here. Let's head on over and show you that the radar picture is showing a clean sweep. We're quiet. We're going to stay quiet here as we head into the overnight. All right, so for the day tomorrow, cold front to the north. We're going to be south of that frontal boundary. High pressure will be close enough to us where it should have some role in our weather. That will allow temperatures to rise to around 95 degrees tomorrow afternoon. I cannot 100% rule out a stray thunder shower tomorrow, but the chance of it happening is less than 10%. Now, as we head into Wednesday, it's still going to be very hot, and we're going to still have temperatures in the middle 90s, but when you factor in the higher humidity, it's going to feel more like 100 degrees on Wednesday. On Wednesday, we may also have a slightly better opportunity, about a 20 to 30% chance for a cooling thunder shower or two. So here we go. Future tracker showing that overnight tonight we are looking fair, we are looking dry as we head into Tuesday, starting out the day, I think with our fair share of sun. As we head into the afternoon, wouldn't surprise me if we have a little more cloud cover and also again a very slight chance for a stray shower or thunder shower. Best chance of it happening will be along and north of Highway 460. Tomorrow night we are looking nothing worse than partly cloudy. Wednesday starts dry with some hazy sun. As we head into Wednesday afternoon, I do think we'll have a better chance for a few pop-up thunder showers. Again, Tuesday, Wednesday don't look to be especially active. I think our weather becomes more active as we head into the latter part of the work week. We've got a big game going on tonight as the Red Sox are home. Overall, it looks like it's going to be a great night for baseball. Temperatures first inning likely in the mid to upper 80s. Temperatures then falling into the middle 70s by the ninth inning. Southwest wind 5 to 10. Overall, skies will be mostly clear. Want to stay hydrated at the ball game as it is going to be very warm, but overall the weather looks to cooperate. I will tell you that, believe it or not, tonight's forecast, we've got a little homestand going on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of this week. As the week goes on, these numbers are going to go up. So this will probably be the most comfortable Red Sox game that you have for the rest of the work week. Temperatures right now, well, they stand at 88 in Lynchburg, 77 in Hot Springs. It's 87 in South Boston, 84 in Hillsville and Galax. So numbers that we need to beat tomorrow. The record in Roanoke, 100, set back in 1930. Number to beat in Lynchburg, 98. Number to beat in Blacksburg, 94. Number to beat in Danville, 101. I don't think we're going to quite get there tomorrow. Just know that we're still looking at highs in the low to mid 90s. And every single one of these main reporting stations. So just a very hot and humid day for us as we head into our Tuesday. 90-degree days so far in 2017. We've had 6 of them. Forecast this week, we're expected to have 4 of them. So we could get about 2/3 of our 90-degree days filled here within the next 3 to 4 days or so. It just looks like it's going to be incredibly hot out there for us here for the next 4 days. May cool things off a little bit late week into this upcoming weekend because we're going to have a better chance for rain at that point. Watching a cluster of showers and thunderstorms north of the Leeward Islands. Looks like those really aren't going to develop into much of anything. Watching this system maybe a little bit closer, National Hurricane Center gives it about a 20% chance of developing as it moves to the west here over the course of the next 5 days or so. So not really expected to develop into much of anything, but we'll keep a very close eye on it for you nevertheless here at Storm Team 10. Your forecast for tonight, mild, muggy, patchy fog around, otherwise mostly clear. Overnight lows tonight are in the 60s. Now as we head into the day tomorrow, hazy, hot and humid, high temperatures in the 80s and 90s. Again, I said to you during the baseball game forecast, I'll say it to you again, please stay hydrated, wear that light cut or loose fitting clothing over the next couple of days. 3-degree guarantee high on Tuesday, 95. We'll do it all over again Wednesday, Thursday 94, 90 on Friday, mid to upper 80s Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Chance for rain goes up for us Thursday, Friday, into the weekend, but you need to know not one day looks to be a washout, with perhaps the best chance for rain lying on Friday.
It's a heat wave.
A heat wave. This will be heat wave number 2 if everything comes to fruition on that 7-day forecast.
Is this hotter than our last heat wave?
It could be.
Yeah?
I think it probably will be, but you need to kind of review it when the heat wave is over. Last heat wave got up 90, 91, 92. This time I think we'll get up 94, 95, maybe even 96 in some spots.
Lucky us.
Woohoo! It's July, though.
Significantly worse.
It is July.
Really is.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jeff.
My pleasure.
A restless night may lead to more than just a tough morning. The link between poor sleep and Alzheimer's disease, that's ahead in your WSLS 10 Health Team report. Today's
Hey, WSLS 10 Health Team, if you've ever slept all night and woke up in the morning feeling tired, chances are you probably didn't get enough deep sleep. And a new report finds a lack of good quality sleep may raise the risk for dementia. NBC's Erica Edwards explains.
Sleep expert Dr. Douglas Kirsch says too many restless nights can lead to a variety of health issues.
Problems like diabetes and cardiovascular disease.
Now we may need to add Alzheimer's disease to that list.
When people don't sleep well, their brain cells don't get a chance to rest.
Dr. Yoel Ju tracked the sleep habits of 17 healthy people at home and also had them spend 2 nights in her sleep lab at Washington University School of Medicine in St. Louis. Each time the participants drifted into deep sleep, a beeping monitor would rouse them out of it and into lighter sleep. That caused levels of proteins called amyloid to rise in their spinal fluid.
Also, when we looked at their home sleep, the worse their sleep, the more their tau increased. Both amyloid and tau are proteins that are involved in Alzheimer's disease.
Just 1 or 2 restless nights should not cause long-term damage. The concern is for chronic sleep deprivation.
If you're not getting enough sleep over months and months, yeah, it's going to lead to you having problems down the line.
Sleep experts advise staying away from caffeine, alcohol, and electronics before bed. Erica Edwards, NBC News.
The Berglund Center announces its biggest giveaway to date, how you can enter to win tickets to every show and Chick-fil-A for the next year.
Well, the Berglund Center is giving away a pair of free tickets to every concert, hockey game, and performance for the next year. Now, by the way, they're throwing in Chick-fil-A for a year.
I think I'd rather have the Chick-fil-A.
I think so, too.
You get your cake and eat it, too, this time. The giveaway comes at a time when the center, it's just because I like Chick-fil-A, the center is seeing big improvements, bringing in more money and reducing the amount of money that the city of Roanoke provides to keep the facility running each year. In 2010, the Berglund Center needed more than $1 million in operating funds from the city. Now that funding is down to just over $500,000, due in part to bringing back a professional hockey team, the Rail Yard Dogs. Capital improvement projects have also reduced the cost of energy usage, and this is the first time the Berglund Center has ever had a giveaway this big.
For the past couple years, we've done our car giveaway with Berglund Automotive and K92, but this is really something that us and Chick-fil-A, have our name on it, and we're going to have that person here in our restaurant and in here to come to the concerts and the Rail Yard Dogs and stuff like that. So we're excited that we can give this back to someone and just have someone here enjoying this and that we can provide this to the community.
How about that? That would be a nice get.
Yeah.
A nice get. And so for more information about the Chick-fil-A Big Ticket Giveaway and how to enter, head to our website, WSLS.com.
And they have great shows. I mean, we were just kidding about the Chick-fil-A, but they have great shows.
Yeah, of course, the shows and the hockey.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all
of it.
Great. All right, our 90 minutes of news continues next.
Stay with us for WSLS 10 and 5:30. Next.
Covering all of Southwest, Southside, and Central Virginia. WSLS 10 News at 5:30 starts right now.
Now at 5:30, questions swirling in Washington around a meeting between the president's son and a Russian attorney during the 2016 presidential campaign, why lawmakers are saying they want to talk to Trump Jr. and why he says he's happy to answer.
Also on Capitol Hill, the Senate returns after their break and the health care battle continues. We have the latest on the American Health Care Act.
After a tethering law passes in the Star City, Angels of Assisi is hoping to help get dogs off of chains. How they're aiming to help pet owners and also to keep shelter numbers low. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm John Carl.
And I'm Lindsay Ward. Today in Washington, questions surrounding President Trump's oldest son and a meeting he had last year with a Russian attorney who promised information to help his father's campaign.
That meeting took place right in the heat of campaign season after President Trump had secured the Republican nomination. Now sources say that lawmakers may want to speak to him about it. The president's son says he did nothing wrong and he's happy to pass on what he knows.
NBC's Blaine Alexander has more tonight from Washington.
President Trump back in Washington and back to more questions about Russia. This time involving his son, Donald Trump Jr., and a meeting during the 2016 campaign.
Don Jr. took a very short meeting from which there was absolutely no follow-up.
The New York Times first reported on the meeting, which included then campaign manager Paul Manafort and the president's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, now a top White House advisor. Trump Jr. acknowledged they did meet with a Russian attorney with ties to the Kremlin, who reportedly promised information damaging to Hillary Clinton's campaign. The president's son said in a tweet the talks, quote, went nowhere, adding his father had no knowledge of the meeting with the Russian attorney.
In fact, by even taking the meeting, they knew that he would be compromising himself, because that's what's happened here.
Today, Trump Jr. said he is happy to cooperate if called by Congress. As the White House works to defend those meetings, President Trump on defense about his own meeting with Russia's leader. Lawmakers on both sides ridiculing a plan for the two countries to work together to prevent cyber hacking.
I use the analogy of letting the fox guard the hen house, but I also think it's like the roadrunner working with the coyote to ban dangerous Acme products.
After initially praising the plan, the president himself admits he doubts it will actually happen. Blaine Alexander, NBC News, Washington.
And today, North Korean TV releases a new carefully crafted video showing their leader, Kim Jong-un, cheered by thousands of people at a concert hall to celebrate the successful launch of an intercontinental ballistic missile. Last Tuesday, North Korea test-fired a newly developed ICBM that some experts believe has the range to reach parts of the U.S. mainland. North Korea hailed the launch as marking the completion of a strategic weapons arsenal that includes nuclear and hydrogen bombs.
Back here in the U.S., the number 2 Republican in the Senate says they will vote next week on a new health care bill. Despite the divided Senate and Republican Party, Senator John Cornyn of Texas told reporters that a revised bill will be unveiled this week with a vote to follow. Today, the president pressured those divided Senate Republicans to pass the stalled American Health Care Act over the next few weeks. He tweeted that he couldn't believe Congress would leave Washington without a, quote, beautiful new health care bill. Many Republicans have been withdrawing their support and calling for changes to the bill.
I do need a complete overhaul in order to get to yes.
No word yet on what the revisions will look like. In its current form, the American Health Care Act will erase much of the Affordable Health Care Act, scaling back coverage requirements, ending penalties, and cutting Medicaid.
Well, we turn now to a case that has caught international attention. Parents of a terminally ill British child will be allowed to present new evidence in a case that would grant them the right to come to the United States seeking experimental treatment. 11-month-old Charlie Gard is being treated at a London hospital that is arguing the experimental treatment will cause the child more suffering without helping anything. The hospital wanted to take the child off life support, but his parents say that Charlie is still fighting, so they want to keep fighting.
You know, there's nothing to lose. He deserves a chance.
Gard has a rare genetic condition. He cannot move his arms or legs or breathe without help, and the case is catching attention all over the world. The family receiving support from the Pope and President Donald Trump, who tweeted that if the U.S. could help, it would be delighted to do so. The evidence is due Wednesday, and the case will reconvene on Thursday.
Today, a Pennsylvania judge is considering evidence, including 911 calls and text messages, to decide whether to send charges relating to a fraternity pledge's death to a county court for trial. 18 former Beta Theta Pi brothers and the national fraternity have been charged in connection to the death of 19-year-old Tim Piazza. Piazza died in February. Police say he laid unconscious for more than 12 hours after drunkenly falling down a set of stairs. Prosecutors introduced a set of text messages exchanged between members while Piazza was near death in a hospital, saying, quote, he drank because we hazed him. His devastated parents were again in the courtroom as prosecutors showed the video of the February incident.
That is what made the difference.
Yes.
Yeah. They killed him.
The men face charges ranging from evidence tampering to involuntary manslaughter. All have pleaded not guilty. This hearing is expected to last until at least tomorrow. Turning now to your weather back here at home. It's gorgeous out there today, but you know, you got to get the air conditioner cranking because it is going to be hot. Storm Team 10 meteorologist Jeff Hanowich is here with a look at your forecast. No other way to put it. Hot, hot, hot.
No other way to put it. 90 today with the humidity not very high. 95 tomorrow with the humidity going up. So tomorrow's going to feel much worse than today, although tomorrow we're still going to see our fair share of hazy sun. It's a clean sweep on the radar. May have had one little isolated little sprinkle into northern parts of Southside earlier today, but for now things have quieted down, and it looks like the rest of tonight we're mostly clear. We're warm, we're muggy with a little bit of fog around. It's 82 in Wytheville, 85 in Blacksburg rather, 90 in Roanoke. It is 88 in Danville. Your evening planner showing temperatures at 6 o'clock likely in the upper 80s. We fall into the middle 80s by 8, and then we're in the upper 70s to near 80 by around 9 o'clock. Overall, it's just fair and warm out there. And then for the day tomorrow, going to the pool, that's a good idea. I'll come with you. 10 a.m. temperature 81. We're up to 91 by 1, on our way up to around 95 by 4. West wind tomorrow at 5 to 10 miles per hour. We're going to be partly to at times mostly sunny tomorrow. Can't rule out a stray late day thunder shower in areas along and north of Highway 460, but for the most part our Tuesday looks dry. As we head into Thursday and Friday though, that chance for rain will go up. John.
Thank you, Jeff. Well, July marked the start of a new tethering law in Roanoke City, and now a local shelter has jumped on board to help keep dogs off of chains. The shelter is concerned if the law isn't followed, local shelters will become even more crowded. WSLS 10's Allison Wickline stopped by Angels of Assisi today and has their story.
Angels of Assisi is joining forces with the city of Roanoke to make sure a new tethering law is enforced.
So if we can get those dogs off of chains and not be a nuisance to the neighbors where they're barking, healthier pets lead to a healthier community, and that's what we're here to do.
As of July 1st, dogs cannot be tied up to anything for more than 3 hours. Dogs also cannot be tied up outside after 10 p.m. or before 6 a.m. The shelter has stepped in for a 6-month educational period to make the process easier for dog owners.
Sometimes folks just don't have the resources to get the animals off of the chains. Doesn't mean they don't want to, but we're putting together a volunteer group to help build some fences to keep those dogs off of chains in their backyards.
Angels of Assisi is also hoping that working with the city will help keep local shelter numbers manageable, because if an animal is repeatedly chained and the ordinance is ignored, animal control officers will have to take the animal into a local shelter.
The shelter is a very stressful environment, and I think there's a good chance that euthanasia rates would really skyrocket if all of these dogs that are on chains don't get the help they need and end up at our pound. They'll be taking up space there. Volunteers and staff will try to work with them, but it's not a win-win situation by any means.
Shelter staff will be working hand in hand with animal wardens throughout the 6-month period, meeting with owners of chained up dogs, and as staff say, hopefully making an impact on the dog and the owner's quality of life.
We want to help get them spayed and neutered. We want to get them off of chains in the backyard. We want them to become part of the family. And together with our community, we can help make that happen.
In Roanoke, Allison Wickline, WSLS 10. Still ahead at 5:30, the temperature is going to rise as the second heat wave of the summer is on its way. We've got a look at your forecast that's coming up in just a few minutes.
But first, here's a look at how stocks of local interest finished the day on Wall Street.
Closed.
I want to show you 3 live tower cams from Roanoke, Blacksburg, and Martinsville, all showing pretty much the same picture. We are seeing our fair share of sunshine. It is warm with the winds out of the west-northwest for the most part, outside of Southside, where you're dealing with more of a southerly component. It's 90 in Roanoke, 84 Blacksburg, and 88 in Martinsville. It's warm, very warm, and we are indeed mostly sunny in most areas. Okay, so here's a look at the radar. Nothing to be had. Clean sweep, looking to stay dry as we head into the overnight tonight, and for the most part as we head into the day tomorrow as well. We do have a severe thunderstorm watch box in effect for parts of Indiana and Illinois, with a few severe thunderstorm warnings out across southern Ohio, also into southern parts of North Carolina. We are looking at most of the rain here for the next probably 24 to 48 hours, staying away from us. Again, key 3 words there, for the most part. That's actually 4 words. Future tracker showing that as we head into the overnight tonight, we are looking at a few clouds every now and again. There could be some patchy fog around overnight, and then as we head into Tuesday, you're going to notice that it's dry to start the day. We're going to pause this around 5 p.m. and you'll notice a few little green blobs showing up. An indicator that we could have a stray shower or thunder shower as we head into tomorrow afternoon. Tomorrow night, we're looking partly cloudy, and then Wednesday starts dry with some hazy sunshine as we head into Wednesday afternoon. I think at that point we'll have a better chance for a few pop-up thunder showers. So the chance for rain tomorrow less than 10%. The chance for rain on Wednesday at around 20%. And then the chance for rain goes up to around 30 or 40% Thursday, 40 to 50% as we head into the day on Friday. So the chance for rain will steadily go up here as we head throughout the course of the rest of the week. It's 88 in Lynchburg. It's 82 in Wytheville, 83 in Hillsville and Galax. You notice those arrows are coming from the south. They're going to continue to come from the south here over the next couple of days, and that means all the heat that has been established in areas south of us is heading to the north. That's why we're thinking that highs tomorrow will be in the 90s, and once we hit the 90s, we're going to stay in the 90s for at least 3 to 4 days. Another thing you need to notice is when you have a southerly flow, not only does that bring warmth in, but it brings in additional moisture. So that means the muggies are going to return in full force as well. It's going to be in the 90s, but it's going to feel like 95 to 105 in some spots. The dew points right now are very respectable. It is not that humid right now, but that changes here very, very soon. Far and away, the muggiest spot, south side, then you head outside of south side, and the dew points are in the 40s and 50s. Now, we're going to see those dew points going up. We're going to have those dew points in the upper 60s to near 70 as we head into Thursday and Friday. And when those dew points get that high and the temperature gets into the 90s, it's going to feel like 90 to 95 into the mountains. It's going to feel like 95 to 100 into our central areas, including Roanoke. It could feel like 100 to 105 out across Danville, South Boston, Charlotte Courthouse, even into Appomattox. Again, these will be your heat index values as we head into Wednesday, Thursday, perhaps even into Friday. Your forecast for tonight, upper 60s. We're muggy under mostly clear skies. And then for the day tomorrow, we're looking at highs in the middle 90s. We're hot and we're humid with our fair share of hazy sun. Your extended forecast, 95 on Wednesday. We're in the middle 90s on Thursday, near 90 Friday, and then we're in the 80s Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. I do think, again, the chance for some rain goes up as we head into Thursday. Friday, scattered showers and thunderstorms will be around looking into the weekend. I don't think it's a washout by any means, but after lunchtime, both on Saturday and on Sunday, I'd keep an eye to the sky as we will have at least some hit or miss thunder showers around.
Well, it doesn't look too bad the weekend. We had a great weekend yesterday and the day before. It was nice.
It was beautiful.
Yesterday was amazing.
Wasn't it?
Amazing.
It really was. It wasn't humid. Today, frankly, it's warm, but it's not that humid.
That's nice.
Talk to me in 24 hours.
Great.
Yeah, I'm not going to be anybody's friend in 24 hours. Everybody's like, yeah, no, what have you done? It's going to be
should be
sticky,
used to that.
sticky.
I'm just kidding.
Right. It's not snow. It's
exactly. Just can't win.
It's always your fault. Hey, the scorching summer temperatures Jeff's talking about on the way. Coming up after the break, we have some tips for you and also some tricks to help you and your family maybe beat this heat.
As the first major heat wave of the year in our area settles in, the Danville Fire Department is reminding people about heat safety. The assistant chief and one of the department's battalion chiefs made an informational video and they posted it to the department's Facebook page. They remind people, of course, to stay hydrated and wear loose-fitting clothing. When it comes to staying hydrated, they recommend not just drinking water, but also those sports drinks, something with electrolytes to help replenish your body from losing all that sweat. And they also say it's important to be able to recognize the signs of heat exhaustion and heat stroke.
Heat exhaustion typically is you become very weak. You become cool and clammy. Heat stroke that's an immediate medical crisis. And typically when somebody goes into that, it would take someone else to recognize it because when it onsets, it actually can render you unconscious very quickly.
And so far this summer, the department has not seen many heat-related calls.
Well, we want to let you know about a unique opportunity for your teens this summer. WSLS 10 is teaming up with Habitat for Humanity for the nonprofit's first ever Teens Build. It's an educational camp for youth interested in construction. So the projects would include electrical wiring, plumbing, and carpentry. And the camp runs from July 12th through the 14th. For more information, and it's coming up fast, head to our website, WSLS.com.
Day of deals. Amazon is only hours away from its third Prime Day. The big sales experts say you should be keeping your eye out for.